Familial DNA as related to forensic science by Jonathan Tavares. What is familial DNA? It is DNA searching while looking for a partial match. Looking into the DNA database for a family DNA match. After DNA is collected, processed, and ready to be used, forensic techs will run it through CODIS and other criminal databases. Once, or if, the search comes back clear, forensic techs will turn to familial DNA searching. This is where they attempt to match the DNA sample to a family member of the suspect. Again, this is often used when the suspect's DNA is not found in a criminal database like CODIS. DNA profiling in forensic science. DNA profiling is a process in which DNA is searched to find a person's unique DNA characteristics. The purpose in the forensic field is to match the DNA found at a crime scene with someone's DNA in CODIS. DNA profiling is unrelated to familial DNA. CODIS is the FBI's up-to-date criminal database. It stands for Combined DNA Index System. How does familial DNA work? Once regular DNA searches come back inconclusive, the forensic techs turn to familial DNA searches to find some genetic similarities. DNA is unique, but it does share some key genetic similarities in the family. Scientists do not attempt to get a direct and absolute match, but rather a partial or matching subset in certain DNA. Why doesn't familial DNA always work? To start, there is an ethical controversy. Some believe searching in some public databases should not be allowed, and that it breaks certain rights. Unfortunately, another problem is that familial DNA does not always hold up in court as evidence. With this, some police forces and FBI teams only use familial DNA as a guide or a foot in the correct direction instead of evidence. Human error. Human error is always a factor, even though these possibilities are very slim. The suspect may not have a family member in any criminal databases. This would make the test pointless and a waste of time and resources. Even though false positives are very slim, they can concur. In some criminal databases, there could be an unproportionate amount of certain races in that database. With this can cause false positives to results. History of familial DNA testing in certain cases. First used for a conviction in 2002 in Great Britain. This was used to catch serial killer Joseph Capin, as pictured in the middle. He was able to escape law enforcement for roughly 30 to 40 years. Once familial DNA was used to capture and solve the murder, Capin had already died. Familial DNA has a widespread use around the United Kingdom. One of the recent uses in the United States was for the murder case in Queens, New York. The most famous and known case is that of the Grim Sleeper. And the first case is the Grim Sleeper. Lonnie David Franklin Jr. was a serial killer who was able to evade law enforcement for roughly 30 years. He is believed to have killed at least 9 women. But, as you can see in the picture below, it is unknown and he could possibly have killed 50 plus. He was so difficult to catch because he wasn't in the system, CODIS, or any other criminal database. He disappeared for roughly 10 plus years. After, in 2002, they were able to match DNA to his son, who had previously been incarcerated. The second case. This is the case of a Queens jogger who was murdered and raped. Leading the investigation, New York police had zero information. Their case and their investigation was coming up completely empty. They had no leads. All they had was a minor DNA sample and a fingerprint left on the jogger's glasses. Through familial DNA searching, New York police were able to take a step in the right area, in the right direction, to find a suspect. Unfortunately, familial DNA was not used for evidence. Familial DNA was used in the Joseph Kappens conviction, where there was roughly a 200 suspect pool. Familial DNA searching is far more popular in Great Britain. Great Britain has pioneered familial DNA testing and searching. The main reason they pioneered it was simply because their software was better at identifying family members than the software in the United States. This allowed for them to be ahead of the curve. The end.